Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Capricorn energy, and we're going to read it from a couple different perspectives because it's not a personal reading and I don't know anything about your life. So, we're just going to read it from the perspective of how different people could be harnessing this energy right now. Some people harness high vibe Capricorn energy, they're kind of free from their more worldly, egoic, fearful, insecure nature and putting in the work and effort to move forward in their life, having hope and faith and belief in their dreams and in love. But some people harness a more worldly focused Capricorn energy and they're more maybe motivated by the world or ego or image or indulging in things of the world to make them feel better and don't think maybe love is the answer. And then some people are more shadowy focused and they could be kind of very self centered, egotistical, all about themselves, manipulative, stubborn, prideful, whatever. Anyway, listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story, where some other people in your life are at, because we all tap into Capricorn energy and how we harness it. And if you harness high vibe Capricorn energy, you would want to be in relationships with other people who harness high vibe Capricorn energy. So we're going to use the Kipper deck this time, so I'll turn down the camera here in a minute so we can see what's going on. Okay. So the whole thing is we live in a world of duality. We have our dualistic nature, our more worldly nature, which is our more immature, prideful, egotistical, maybe haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves, get caught up in our fear or insecurity or defensiveness, and we kind of are letting our egoic nature run our life. But we have the opportunity throughout life to learn lessons to elevate how we view life and grow and mature ourselves, get out of our more fearful, egoic, worldly view of life to align with love and hope and faith and belief in our dreams. So I'm going to start over here. It's kind of like we all have our shadow nature. Have we learned to align with our more hopeful, believing nature that, our shadow nature of the false person, emotionally our false nature, wants us to keep investing in our false nature. Keep being in your fear, keep being in your insecurity, keep being defensive, keep being in your pride and ego. Keep thinking that the things of the world are what make you happy. But the high vibe people are putting in work and effort to learn the lesson they were meant to learn from life experiences, kind of learn to love their worldly nature with their more hopeful, believing nature, to love their worldly nature so that they can align with their more loving, nurturing, encouraging, supportive nature, to be balanced within themselves. But it does take work and effort to heal, heal from past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, to get balance within ourselves so that we can give birth to something new emotionally. And some people don't do that. They keep being tempted to keep repeating a pattern of the past. And we'll all repeat a pattern of the past, a way of thinking, a way of believing, types of relationships, types of jobs, ways of viewing ourselves in the world, until we realize that loving energy and our own loving nature wants us to love ourselves, to offer ourselves love and compassion and forgiveness, to heal from, we all have lessons to learn. We've all been immature, probably, and impulsive and reckless and prideful and egotistical and caught up in the illusion of the world and codependent and looking to the things outside of the world, even if that's just about looking to a relationship to make us feel better, or indulging in drugs or alcohol or sex or gambling or whatever, thinking things outside of us are the answer. And the truth is, love was always the answer. And the feminines in tarot can talk about how we think and feel. And we can either align with our more emotionally deceptive nature, or we can align with our more loving nature. And some people who've gone through some life experiences and realize that when I take action out of pride or ego or fear or insecurity or codependency or looking outside myself, things don't turn out the way I thought they were going to turn out. And the reason they don't is because we had lessons learned from that life experience. And if we're willing to get out of our pride and ego, to admit that maybe I had some lessons learned, maybe I needed to learn to love myself. And it's like love, our high vibe nature represented by God and our shadowy nature kind of represented by the devil. Those two aspects in the world are battling with each other, and it battles within ourselves because we have free will. And it's like loving energies here, we're in our more, our worldly nature is our more immature, codependent nature, and it stands between us and love and blocks us sometimes from learning the lessons we were meant to learn. And to realize that if we want our divine inheritance, we have to put in work and effort to overcome our more worldly, shadowy, fearful, prideful nature, to learn the lessons we were meant to learn from all these relationships we've gotten into, to see what other people are motivated and inspired by and what they view as the perfect life and makes them happy, to get clear about what our truth is. And if we're willing to do that work, to love ourselves and love our own inner child, to get out of our ego and our fear, then we can give birth to something new. And some people have done that, and they're offering resources to other people in their life to encourage them to love and believe in themselves, to get over their fears and their insecurities and their self-limiting beliefs, to love themselves, to be in the energy of love and hope, to, we have this dualistic nature represented by the scales of justice, and we can be tipped out of balance because of our fear or insecurities or our self-limiting beliefs. And if we want to move forward, we have to get more balanced within ourselves, where we offset our fears and insecurities with love and compassion and forgiveness, because it's from a place of balance that we can move forward in life differently. But it's hard to move forward when we keep being tipped out of balance, where we're kind of indulging poor behavior in ourselves and we're indulging poor behavior in other people. It's like, I'm going to maintain balance within myself regardless of how other people choose to act. I'm going to offer you love and encouragement, but if you're still in shadowy energy, I can't give birth to anything new with you because you're not in the energy of giving birth to anything new. Because of your fear and your insecurity, you're repeating these old patterns, and I've already been there and done that and learned that lesson. It's kind of like just kind of growing up and maturing yourself, that I don't want to keep living my life like that because I've already been there and done that, and I've learned the lesson I was meant to learn, and I'm ready to give birth to something new. And the other people could be fearful of stepping outside their comfort zone, of being more just and fair, or believing in love, or acting with character and integrity. They could still be acting out of fear and insecurity, pride or ego, self-centeredness, immaturity, caught up in lust, greed, addictions, and they haven't done the work. So the energy of love encourages people to love and believe in themselves. But loving energy, it's not like God and the devil are in a relationship, right? Because they have different philosophies of life. And a house divided can't stand. So loving people and loving energy offers people love and encouragement and support. But I'm not going to be in a relationship with you if you're still haven't done that work within yourself to love yourself and get balanced. And basically, shadowy energy represented by the devil is Capricorn energy, which we all can align with. We all have more shadowy or worldly focused Capricorn energy within us, depending on which one we align with within ourselves. And high vibe Capricorn energy is people who've done the work and effort, which the community card I view as the Three of Pentacles, which is Capricorn energy. People who accepted the gift. I have free will. I can choose to stay in my fear and insecurity, my more immature, indulgent nature, not grow up and mature myself, not learn to love myself, stay out of balance, be kind of manipulative in relationships in order to get what I want because I'm not being loving and just and fair and truthful and authentic. And I think that's where we're at right now in Capricorn energy. Some people who have loving people in their life, and basically loving energy is just there, movies and books and art and all those things inspire us to love and believe in ourselves, because the more creative aspect of the world is kind of in alignment with the divine, because our creative, intuitive nature is a gift to us from the divine. And so the people who are listening to loving energy and creative and inspired and things that make them have hope and faith and belief in their dreams, or people in their life who are doing that, those people are going to be the people right now who accept that gift and start putting in work and effort about why do they give in to their more immature nature. Why is their more immature, indulgent, prideful, egotistical nature running their life? And it kind of creates a little hell in their life. And they might get in relationships with people who are happy they're that way. And those people want to be in friendships and relationships with them for their own selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical reasons. Just if it's even just a friend or a family member, I like feeling like I have control over you. Oh, are you kind of codependent? Oh, do you not love and believe in yourself? I'm going to keep instilling fear and insecurity within you because it makes me feel like I'm the boss and I like being in control of other people's life. And then friendships and relationships where they like that people don't love and believe in themselves. And the privileged lady card, which again is about our emotions and our thoughts and our feelings. Because the thing is, we have a masculine card here. We can all present ourselves in the world whatever way we want, and we all present ourselves kind of in masculine energy because that is about taking action in the world, but people don't know the truth of how we think and how we feel. And, so again, because there's a veil in the world and we can't see things clearly because we don't know the truth of how people think and feel and what's in their heart and what drives and motivates them, we have to learn these lessons because we can be naive and gullible, and we've got to learn the lessons that we've learned from people. Oh, you're hurtful, you're unkind, you're abusive, you're self-centered, you're more wanting to be in a relationship because of ego and image, or to have somebody indulge you. You don't want to grow up and mature yourself. You're still, haven't learned to play nice with others in the world in a just and fair manner. You like the scales of justice kind of tipped in your favor, where you're kind of indulged in a relationship. And the people who are accepting the gift from like the divine and inspired by loving people in their life and encouraging things in the world that try to encourage them to believe in themselves, those people are doing work within themselves to free themselves and love themselves, so their more hopeful, believing, creative, authentic nature can come out in the world to play. Life is meant to be an adventure. Life is about enjoying all these things of the world, but enjoying them from a place of love, so that we don't give those things of the world so much power in our life. Like, you're supposed to make me happy. This is supposed to make me happy. I'm not supposed to have to learn to love myself. These things are supposed to make me feel happy. And then we've given our power to something outside of ourselves, and then those things can really run our life off into the ditch because we gave them too much power. And the answer was we were supposed to love ourselves. So from a place of not giving things outside of ourselves so much power in our life, and we've learned to love and believe in ourselves, and we maintain balance within ourselves, then we're able to enjoy all these things in the world that are meant to be enjoyed, like a little heaven on earth. And we can go enjoy them from a place of love for ourselves, and we kind of do it in balance and moderation. So what is the main storyline over here? Great fortune, lovers, judication, wealthy man, which can be just a person, journey, and marriage. And the reason for that is the death card. So the death card can talk about, well, let's read it from more of a shadowy perspective first. Some people have put an end to aligning with their more loving, hopeful, believing nature. And the coffin, or similar to the death card in tarot, is Scorpio energy, which does talk about our deep emotional nature. And some people are like, we're emotionally complex human beings. It's confusing. We can have so many different thoughts about people. And when we love people, it's really, really doing the highs and lows of life. And some people are like, I don't want to do that. It is too confusing. And then some people don't want to give birth to anything new. Some people have decided that they are more about, with the wealthy man, I'm going to align with my more worldly nature. I am going to make my life more about the world. I want to go indulge in things of the world. I'm sure those things will make me happy. I don't have to give birth to anything new. I don't have to align with the idea that there's more to life than what the world tells me. I think if I align with the world and indulge in things of the world, or make my life about money and materialism, I think I'll be happy. And so they've kind of detached from their more loving, intuitive, creative nature, and we have free will. Some people are like, no, this is the path I pick. I'm going to pick aligning with my more worldly nature. And there's other people that are like, I have hope and faith and belief and love. I'm not going to I'm worth more than what I wear and what I drive. None of those things in the external are the things that define me. What defines me is the fact that I am this emotionally complex human being who has thoughts and ideas and creativity and imagination. And some people are like, I'm going to live more from my mind maybe. And, I'm just going to work with the things of the world. And some of those people could be a little more emotionally shallow and superficial because they don't want to do love. If they do love, they could get hurt and it's confusing and they just don't want to even deal with it. So they don't maybe mind even being in relationships that are kind of emotionally shallow and superficial, so long as it makes them look like they have the status and the image, or like, hey, I'm living life. Look at all the things I'm indulging in. And it can be, our shadowy nature can be a little more concerned with how we think people view us, because it is kind of being a little bit more in our ego. And instead of being more independent from our ego and like, I don't really care what people think, I'm going to go live my authentic life. Some people in their ego, it's all about trying to present this certain image, because if people are maybe more superficial and shallow and materialistic, they want people to get in relationships with them. So they maybe don't present themselves as who they really are, and they try to present themselves as being like they harness high vibe Capricorn energy. I'm emotionally mature and stable and grounded, and you should get in a relationship with me, and you should hire me as an employee or a boss, or get into business with me. So they present themselves as being much more emotionally balanced and loyal and committed and hardworking and more mature than they really are. And sometimes, because they don't tap into their more creative, inspired, hopeful, believing nature, part of trying to make them look like they're moving forward in this victorious way, like other people are moving forward in the world, is trying to find someone who will get in a relationship with them, who either has money and status and image and all those things of the world that they want, or if they have those things, hoping that other people will want to be in a relationship with them. And even if they are kind of emotionally shallow and superficial, and even if they could be intimidating and controlling, they could act like a private detective in a relationship, they could be a narcissist, because Scorpio, shadowy Scorpio energy that anyone can harness can represent that. And they're hoping that either that they can get in a relationship with someone who has all the money and status and image, and, it's just someone they have sex with, because it's kind of this black and white thinking of, well, if I was in a relationship with someone, I'd have sex with someone. I'll just have sex with this person. And if they have the image and the status that I want, they'll be the person I get in a relationship with and have sex with, or I want someone, if I have the status and the image, I think there's other people who haven't learned to love and believe in themselves, and they'll maybe get in a relationship with me, or they're on the same page as me and view life like me, and they'll get in a relationship with me. And we'll keep living life like this, where none of us face our fears and insecurities. None of us listen to our intuition. We keep repeating a pattern over and over and over where there's nothing new to learn there. Nothing new grows. The people don't grow. The people don't mature themselves. They don't ever shed any of their old baggage, whatever fears and insecurities or prideful, egotistical, lazy, self-centered, manipulative, petty, envious, jealous ways of being they had when they got in a relationship. They're going to keep having those things. Because high vibe Scorpio is about detaching from old ways of being to transform your life, because you've grown and matured yourself, and emotionally you're ready to give birth to something new. And there's some people in the world that no, I'm good. I'm happy living my life just like this. I don't want to detach from any of my old ways of being. I don't want to grow and mature myself. I don't want to face any of my fears or my insecurities. I want to keep living life just like this. And, this can even represent, it happens in relationships and workplaces and friendships. And some of the people who got in relationships with some of those people, when they realized that the person with the adjudication card, when they realized that the person they were in a relationship with or a workplace, nothing's ever going to change here, because we all have growing and maturing to do. And we've all got to be willing to admit that we have maybe some lessons to learn in life, that we could, help people in other areas that, it's just like if you work for a boss and they're kind of petty or controlling or bossy or immature, and you didn't realize that initially. Initially, you thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a great job. That other job ended. I went and gotten this job. And, they presented themselves as oh, we're really supportive and encouraging of people. You should have a job with us. This is going to be a great partnership. And then you get in it and you realize, oh, wow, you're kind of not aligned with again, with this being Libra Taurus energy, you're not really very balanced here, are you? You're not very just and fair. You're kind of in your ego, and you're kind of stubborn, and you might think that you should be, it's like people just unwilling to change, and maybe possibly more shadowy, and they kind of want to be indulged, and nothing's ever going to change there. And you just realize that, oh my gosh, yeah, no, I can't stay here. Just like you can say that in a friendship or a relationship. And, you want to be in truly abundant, just, fair, balanced, creative, inspired, loving people who align with that. And you realize the people that you were in a relationship weren't that. Their idea of how they wanted to move forward was different than how you wanted to move forward. They wanted to move forward doing everything exactly the way they've done it, where they don't have to grow and mature themselves. You stay in it because of the image and the status or how much they pay you. and nothing's ever going to change. There's no like growth opportunities there. And you're not supposed to listen to your intuition, and you're not supposed to be creative and inspired. You're just supposed to do things the way we've always done it. And some of you decided, I need to align with detaching from these people, because that's what the Scorpio card's about too. I need to emotionally detach from these people. I could love these people and I could wish them the best. And I've maybe been trying to harness high vibe Capricorn energy, where I've been trying to love and encourage them to maybe shed some old ways of being that aren't conducive to a healthy workplace or a happy family dynamic. And trying to love them and encourage them to face their fears about detaching from some old ways of being, and, to maybe step outside their comfort zone and work together cooperatively with people. We're either working cooperatively with people in an authentic, loving, just, fair way, or we're kind of defensive to doing that. Why? Maybe some people never, or for a really long time, they don't let their more authentic, vulnerable nature out to play in the world. Some people could have, had some life experiences where they grew up with people that weren't who they wish they would have been, maybe when they were young. And they have a lot of pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs, because they could have been, I think when we're children, we all want these loving, nurturing, mature, just, fair, balanced relationships. And sometimes, the people that we grow up with, they haven't freed themselves from some things, and they can be bossy and controlling. They can be manipulative. They could just be emotionally shallow human beings because of their life experience before them. And the whole thing is, sometimes you hear in tarot about generational curses. Are we going to keep letting people in our life and our world who hadn't healed and done the work to be free, to be loving, keep us in negative energy where we give up on our dreams, and we then have our pain and heartbreak just like they probably had their pain and heartbreak? Are we not going to deal with ours and see the truth of it? See the truth of them, just like they didn't do the work within them to deal with their own pain and heartbreak and the people they were dealing with? The truth sets us free to give birth to something new. And love is what helps us do that. We accept that some people haven't freed themselves from the things that manipulate them. Their fear, their insecurity, their pride, their ego, thinking they have to be controlling of everything, or maybe they have never gotten out of their egotistical, self-centered ways of being that they should have shed back in childhood, and it's all about them. Are we willing to see the truth about the lessons, that just realizing that we're dealing with people in the world who haven't healed? And are we going to keep repeating that same pattern because those people hurt us? So now we're going to be that kind of person in the world, and it just continues on and on and on? Or are we going to be one of the people who puts an end to that? I'm not going to get and stay in workplaces and relationships with people who aren't just and fair and loving because of the status and the image or the money or whatever. Because of my more codependent nature. Am I going to learn to love myself and decide, I'm going to decide to love myself. I'm going to offer love to the people in my life who could have hurt me, could have been unloving, unjust, unfair, because love is what helps us heal. And I wish them peace. Some of those people aren't even in our life anymore. But it's just acknowledging that some people, shadowy energy can be being in denial of the truth that it's supposed to be about love, or in denial that they're kind of shadowy or live in illusion. Well, this is how I always dreamed of living life and of being, and I wanted people to indulge me in my ego, and they live kind of in fantasy land, and it's hurtful and unkind to other people. And we just offer love to the situation. If they knew better, they'd probably do better, but You know, if they'd grown up and matured themselves, I'm sure they would have been a more loving, nurturing person. If they had loved themselves enough to do the work to free themselves, it doesn't say anything about our worth and value that other people are bossy or controlling or unjust or unfair or abusive. That's who they choose to be. We all have free will. We have the free will to be loving and nurturing and supportive and encouraging and loyal and committed, or we choose not to be that type of person. It doesn't have anything to do, I mean, we can see how we've all went through life experiences where people are unjust, unfair, and unloving, and it's hard to work through that because it does kind of wound us at a deep emotional level. And Scorpio talks about our deep emotional connections with people, and it can be really hard to emotionally free ourselves from that because we really wanted those people to go on a journey of like love with us, working cooperatively together with us. The marriage card kind of reminds me of the Two of Cups card. You know, we wanted them to work with us cooperatively. And some people didn't, but some of them we had to move forward because they were in our family and we were children. And it could have seemed like an unloving experience or an emotionally shallow, superficial experience. And it can hurt us and it can make us wonder, well, if those people who I thought like would love me, and they chose not to be loving, for a long time because we're children and we have that egocentric viewpoint. We think it says something about our worth and value. But if we're willing, as we grow up in the world and we meet more loving, nurturing, supportive, kind, encouraging people in the world, just look at life differently and just realize that we were dealing with fallible human beings who maybe hadn't freed themselves from those ways of being that other people that we might meet in our life have. And that might be people who make us have hope and faith and belief in our dreams again and in love and in ourself. And we decide, I'm not a child anymore. I can love me. I don't want to let the past pain and heartbreak or keep being codependent on other people to love me. I'm going to love me. And that's part of growing up. I'm not a child anymore. I'm going to be my own best mother, father, coach voice in my own head. I'm going to give myself all the things that I wish other people would have given me because I want to be in the energy of love. I want to be free from the past. I want to heal from past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs. I want to be a loving, nurturing person in the world. I don't want to repeat this old pattern. I want to move forward in loving, emotionally supportive, encouraging relationships with people who are willing to realize life is about detaching from old ways of being and pain and heartbreak because it transforms your life. You get to give birth to move to the next level of life, to see what God had planned for you if you aligned with hope and faith and belief and love. And the people that had hope and faith and belief took the gift of love to offer like love to their own worldly foundation, to love themselves, to believe in themselves, to encourage themselves, so that when their own shadow nature and then all the other people that might be in the world that are aligned with their shadowy nature try to tempt us in our more fearful, insecure, codependent nature, if we haven't healed from past pain and heartbreak, I think we will be drawn and attracted to people who kind of remind us of people subconsciously, who remind us of people from our past. And it's like, this time I'm going to win. This time they're going to love me. This time they're going to quit being that way, shadowy, and they're going to love me. And they're going to be like the loving person I always wanted, like people in my past to be. If we dealt with people who say they had addictions, I'm going to, oh, look, there's a person, I bet, those people I grew up with, I couldn't be in a romantic relationship with them, but now I can be in a romantic relationship with this person because they're not my family member, but they remind me of that person. I bet I can get them to love me if I just love them enough. I bet they'll choose me this time. Why would we pick to go get in a relationship where the odds are completely stacked against us? They already show us they have addictions, or they're immature and impulsive, or they're prideful and egotistical, or they're more motivated by money and materialism than love. It's kind of our more immature nature, maybe a little bit of our own God complex, but kind of ego. But I think underlying it is, this time I'm going to win. This time they're going to love me. They are going to appreciate me the way I wish those other people in my past would have appreciated me. And it's kind of not to heal ourselves so we're no longer tempted by those wounds of the past, that we've given ourselves the things that we wish those people would have given us, so that when we see people like, oh, you're kind of prideful and egotistical, how you doing? I see the truth that you're kind of like that. I acknowledge the truth. And if you want to be snooty or dismissive of me, that I don't take it personally, because that's who you are, and I don't try to present myself as being someone like that in the world. So you probably will not give me the time of day, and I'm okay with that, because I really have learned I don't like being in relationships with people who are like you, or you're mean and unkind, and some people chase you to be in a relationship with you for whatever reason. Yeah, no, I've dealt with people who are like that, and I have no interest in being in relationships with people who are like that. Oh, you want me to be immature and impulsive and give in to my more immature, impulsive, lustful, greedy nature, thinking it'll turn out the way I want? No, I've already been there and done that and driven my life off into the ditch a few times doing that, and it did not work out the way I wanted. So I am maintaining balance within myself and treating myself with love and compassion and encouragement to keep believing in my dreams, and realizing that if I do give in to some immature, selfish, prideful, egotistical, immature ways of being, because that's kind of aligning with your more shadowy nature, represented by the devil, it's probably not going to turn out the way I want, because the devil lies. If I really want to give birth to my dreams, I need to keep aligning with my more loving, hopeful, believing nature, and invest my time and energy into other people who are loving and balanced and just and fair and loyal and committed and creative and inspired, and look at life as an adventure to be lived from a foundation of love. And you could know some people in your life who either they're caught up in money and materialism, or they're aligned with people in their life who keep encouraging them and to keep living life the way they do. If they know that they have fear and insecurity, they play on their fear and their insecurity. And it could just be people in their life who they want them to view as a loving mother figure in their life, even if they're a sibling. Oh, no, 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 you shouldn't go out there, honey. You could get hurt out there. And really, it can be just their own ego, like, I like to control you. I like you being codependent on me. I don't want you to go live the life of your dreams. If you went and lived the life of your dreams and believed in yourself and got in relationships with loving people, you'd maybe see the truth of who I am. That maybe I really didn't have your best interest at heart. Remember all those times I tried to play on your fear and insecurity? You shouldn't trust those people. I don't think those people have your best interest. I think those people just want to be in a relationship with you because of your status or your image or your looks. Loving people encourage you to listen to your intuition. We're gonna learn some difficult lessons in life, but we love people and we encourage them to love and believe in themselves. And if we could have a concern, we might state a concern, but it's like, honey, you got to live your own lessons. And we've all kind of got to go learn all these lessons, We probably all got to go through the phase where our heart is running our life and the other parts of our life might go into shambles. And then we might let our worldly nature and so consumed with money and materialism and our career the rest of our life kind of is completely ignored. And it's all about learning these lessons so that we learn these lessons so we learn how to maintain balance within our life. I'm not going to let my heart run my life off into the ditch anymore because I've learned how it's thrown my life out of balance. I'm not going to let work or my ego or my image take such precedence in my life because I've learned how that throws my life out of balance. I want to make decisions in my life taking all aspects of myself into consideration. And things have to be just and fair and balanced. And people, other shadowy people in the world and our own egoic nature keep trying to tempt us to maybe pick one or two things over something else. Oh, screw that, go do this. Oh, screw that, go do that, And we all could have done that when we were younger and we learned those hard lessons in life. There might be someone in the world who could have a lot of lessons to learn. And some of those people could get in relationships with people who they could possibly move forward with that would be like a gift to them. But there's something that tempts them, and the thing that could tempt them could be some truth about either how they are much more codependent, and if people who have money or status or image come into their life, they'll give up on the loving relationships that could have been a gift to them because they are very codependent or they're very materialistic. And the divine will use other shadowy people in the world to illuminate the truth, because if they're moving forward with people who are being just and fair and loving, and the divine knows that this person isn't ready to go to that next phase of life because they kind of have these hidden issues within them, or say the divine knows that they kind of really are being deceptive and emotionally shallow, and they're trying to tempt someone to be in a relationship with them. And if and they kind of want to be indulged, like for someone to be like a mother figure to them where they don't have to grow up and mature themselves. If for some reason the divine thinks, no, that shouldn't happen, this person who they're moving, because we're moving forward in a new phase of life. Anyway, that the divine might use a shadowy person in the world to tempt that person to get out of that relationship, because other people who are shadowy might not like to see other people like, oh shit, they got in a relationship. It looks like they're going to give birth to their dreams. I'm in my ego about that. They were supposed to always kind of be up in their head about me. And now that I could have ended the relationship with them because I'm kind of prideful and egotistical and full of myself. And I was kind of hoping they wouldn't love and believe in themselves. And that kind of keeps my ego boosted. Well, then if they go get in a relationship with someone else, well, now I'm going to pop back up in their life trying to tempt them either with money or materialism, or I don't know, play on their childhood wounds in a way, which I don't think either of them are conscious of, but they do. And some of those people might end what could have maybe moved forward in a loving way, but because one of the people could have some lessons to learn, and they have to learn those lessons before they can move forward in a relationship like that. They might be tempted by someone who comes back into their life. What would be, oh, really? That one? Okay. I was going to ask, what is the childhood wound? And we have this card not showing itself, which can be about hiding it. And then with the Temperance card coming out, it's something they need to balance out their emotions about. And so far, it could be a childhood wound that they try to hide from the world. And they just try to balance out their emotions about the fact that they hide that wound from the world. Oh, karma and judgment. They might be people who, well, our shadowy worldly nature could think, kind of like we're the boss. There is no higher truth or justice. I can be emotionally shallow and superficial. I can kind of try to manipulate people to get what I want in the world. I don't have to grow up and mature myself. So long as people don't know the truth of who I am, and I maybe present myself as like pure as the driven snow, and look how just and fair I am, and look what a pillar of society I am. They harness this energy in a shadowy way, shadowy Libra Taurus energy, trying to present to the world that they're, very much maybe about being indulged emotionally and immature, that they don't think that there is any higher truth or justice to aspire to, or any consequences for their actions, because they just don't, it's kind of like if you were to live in the world, and we have all these, at least, I don't know what you'd call them, rules of that exist in our world. Like one of them is gravity. Someone could keep trying to jump out of a window, keep saying, no, I refuse to believe in gravity, but they keep getting proven wrong. And I think this world just wasn't created by happenstance. I think it came into existence like coming down here and playing the game of life. Okay, you're gonna live in a dualistic world, you're gonna have a dualistic nature. Are you going to learn that if you're selfish, greedy, prideful, immature, egotistical, lazy, blah, 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 and think you can have it all, that people who choose love have, are you going to realize that doesn't work? Are you going to realize love was the answer? Are you going to realize there's selfish, greedy, bossy, controlling, immature, prideful, egotistical people in the world? Are you going to learn to love yourself, to not get stuck in negative, non-life-giving energy with them, not let negative energy defeat you? Are you going to see the truth? Because with Libra being in this card over here, Libra is represented by the scales of justice, and it is represented by the King of Swords. Are you going to see through the illusion to see that the truth was always love? And that if people don't choose love, then they're aligning with something else. And they're being manipulated and controlled by their worldly nature and probably other people in their life too. And are you going to see through the illusion? And some people haven't seen through the illusion, and they and it could be even that the people they're in a relationship with, they're either going to get tempted, I think, by someone to get out of a loving relationship, and that will bring a judgment kind of upon them, because people will see that these people get in loving relationships, but because they keep being tempted by the next shiny object or something, people are going to realize that they're not who they say they are. And they've been trying to hide from judgment. And even if they do get in a new relationship to try to create this illusion, like, if they previously were deceptive and manipulative, and ended a relationship previously because they don't want to do love, thinking, I have this certain image or status, I can get out of being judged even though I'm being a false person. I really don't want to do love. I don't want to be just and fair in a relationship. I don't want to have to grow up and mature myself. And if I go get in another relationship, then it looks like I've given birth to something new and I've escaped judgment. But for some of those people, it's not going to turn out the way they think, because if they are someone who rejects love, well, they probably went to go find someone else who they think doesn't have hope and faith and belief in themselves and hasn't learned to love themselves, and that maybe would come get in a relationship with them and stay in a relationship with them because of the image and the status and the money. And the person who could be coming into the relationship with them could be someone who presents himself as a just and fair and balanced and innocent, loving person. But that person's being false. And they're going to maybe get in a relationship with someone who's kind of like them. And then they're going to find themselves kind of in a toxic relationship where neither one of them is letting their more hopeful, believing, the things that were given to us as a gift from the divine to take us out of the animalistic world and computerized robot world. But both of them could be people who have fear of using those ways of being authentically. So it's using their emotions, their sexuality, their mind, their creativity, all in negative ways to manipulate them and manipulate the other person. And by worldly standards, it might look really victorious and successful, but everybody's being false, and they get in a relationship with someone who's trying to manipulate and control them for their own selfish, greedy, prideful reasons. And it's basically being in a relationship where, their more hopeful, believing inner child nature could feel dead. And it is like a relationship void of anything except money and materialism and status and ego and image. And if you have those things of the world without love, it is like a resounding gong. And that will be their judgment. You're in a relationship with someone who's just like you, someone who's immature, manipulative, prideful, egotistical, emotionally shallow, superficial, full of themselves, who's only in the relationship because of fear, codependency, money, or materialism. How do you like you aligned within yourself with your shadowy nature, and that's what you manifested? How do you like, being in relationships with people who aren't loving or nurturing or supportive or encouraging, that just put on a good act in the world and in the relationship with you of how, just so fake? It's like, that's what you maybe thought you wanted, but now that you have it, and so sometimes people get in those situations because they rejected love. You have free will, loving energy, or God and other loving people in the world are trying to encourage people who've gotten themselves in those situations to love and believe in themselves. That life is worth so much more than having the status and the image or the money or the materialism or the social clout or the power. If it isn't based on love, it's dead. But they have free will. If they want to stay in it, they can. And some of them might get tempted because God knows it's an injustice. And some of these people have been trying to escape being held accountable for their actions. And when they get tempted again to let go of loving, supportive people in their life, people will see the truth that they are very much more materialistically driven, and they won't be able to hide from judgment anymore, I think. What's coming up for the people who harness some high vibe Capricorn energy that they might not see coming? The Six of Cups, the Seven of Pentacles, the Sun, the Nine of Wands, and the Magician card because of the Page of Cups. Well, I think the people who love and believe in themselves, they're going to connect in with their inner child nature of hope and faith and belief in themselves and in love. And they're going to reconcile themselves with the past. The Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. I see the truth of how different people I've worked with in my life. I see the truth about how I could have worked with them and how I needed to grow up and mature myself. And I see the truth of them and how they needed to grow up and mature themselves. And I accept the truth of it, that we all had lessons to learn in life. And I've reconciled myself to that. And now that I've learned these lessons, the pentacles can be all the different lessons we've learned in life, that I want to invest in high vibe energy, be in life-giving energy, to love myself, believe in myself, so I can authentically be myself in the world. I don't want to present myself in the world as being one type of person, but internally, emotionally, that's not who I am at all. I want to align with loving and believing in myself so that when I do go present myself out in the world, male or female, that's really who I am, because I have detached from the past and I have grown and matured myself, and I am aligned with love, and I really am an emotionally mature, nurturing, loving person who's transformed my whole life, because I have learned these lessons in life to keep growing and maturing myself. And I've learned to stand up for myself. And I've learned to believe in myself and believe that I can manifest my dreams into reality. And I'm manifesting what I think into reality every day. And I choose to align in my Gemini and my truth with, because Gemini is a dualistic sign about what we want to align with within ourselves to manifest our dreams into reality. I'm aligning with my more hopeful, believing, intuitive, creative, inspired nature. And I'm going to align with that to manifest next week, next year, and the next 10 years of my life, instead of aligning with my worldly, egoic, fearful, materialistic, codependent nature. And I'm willing to illuminate the truth. And I'm willing to stand up for what I believe in and the people I want to manifest with, because I want to be in relationships with other people who've done the same work. And by you doing that, a side effect of it is it does kind of illuminate the people in the world who are trying to manipulate people about the truth because they're defensive of aligning with their more hopeful, believing, loving nature. And they turn their back on doing these energies in high vibe because they keep repeating a pattern of the past, because they either don't want to see the truth about themselves and hold themselves accountable for their actions, or there's something, they could have loved people in their past and they're not willing to hold themselves accountable. And so, just that they're fallible human beings who make mistakes that could have made them not love and believe in themselves. And they're not willing to see how some people in their past kind of maybe either just got them on a more materialistic or living a more emotionally shallow life. And they might not just want to see that about themselves. But they certainly don't want to illuminate the truth and stand up for themselves and manifest from love. They'd rather keep repeating the same pattern. And it kind of illuminates who's really giving birth to something new and moving forward in life in a new way because they're like a new person because they shed some old ways of being and they grew and matured themselves. And who's giving birth to the same old thing because they are the same person they were before in the last job, in the last relationship, because they haven't healed from any of their past pain and heartbreak or their ego or their materialistic nature. And they're going to be the exact same person in the future relationship or jobs as they were in the last ones. And it could be that they think they should be indulged in a relationship and not have to be held accountable for their actions, and that other people should just balance out their emotions about being in a relationship with them because they might have status or image or status or power or whatever in the world, and they think people should just balance out their emotions about being in a relationship with them and shouldn't hold them accountable. That let them present themselves in the world as being all these things even though they're really not that way behind closed doors. It's just a facade, and they don't want to be held accountable for their actions. And if they can find someone who's willing to indulge them in those ways for whatever reason, maybe because of the status or the money or materialism, then I guess they found someone who's willing to do that in their life, and both of them cannot grow and mature themselves or choose love. And they can live a life that's emotionally shallow and superficial if they want. I think that's a waste of your life. But if that's, everybody's got free will, it all serves a purpose. People see other people in the world and how they live their life, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to follow these people's example, And other people will look at those people, because we live in a world of duality, that'll say, yeah, that's how I want to live my life. And it all serves a purpose. What's coming up for the people who harness a more shadowy Capricorn energy that they might not see coming? It's split in the middle of the deck, so we're going to have two clarifiers. The Knight of Swords, the Six of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, because of the Chariot, and the Three of Wands. Well, for one thing, they never speak the truth, and they never exchange their more worldly foundation for looking at life from a higher perspective and having hope and faith and belief and love. And they never get in the driver's seat of their life to move forward believing in their dreams. But some other people in the world did that. Maybe some people who used to be in a relationship with them and realized your truth isn't my truth. And they could have thought, oh, I bet they won't love and believe in themselves, just like I don't love and believe in myself. And I'm manipulated by my fear and my insecurity and my codependency. And I bet they'll come back and want to maybe be in a relationship with me and do the relationship the way I want. And the other people moved on. And they didn't see that coming. Because since they don't ever do this within themselves and look at life from a higher perspective and heal, they didn't think other people would do it, and that other people would keep being aligned with their more egoic nature and probably want to come back and get in a relationship with them to have them move forward with them because they're like in their ego. And that didn't happen. And that was something they didn't see coming. And the high vibe people are going to exchange resources with other people in the world who harness high vibe Aquarius, high vibe Cancer, high vibe Aries energy. People, they don't have to be those sun signs, but they harness those zodiac sign traits and Capricorn because they have gotten out of their more worldly egoic nature to believe in themselves and believe in their dreams. And they're going to move forward in life away from these people who keep repeating an old pattern, and they're going to give birth to something new because they do believe in themselves. Another thing they might not see coming, sometimes shadowy people wanted other people to feel betrayed because it kind of builds them up in their ego or something. Like, I'm not going to exchange resources with you because you kind of want me to grow up and mature myself. I'll show you. I'm going to go do something else and kind of indulge myself in my ego. And I bet you'll feel betrayed. And I think what they're going to find out is that by taking that kind of immature action, they're going to be the one who ends up feeling betrayed because other people saw that they weren't emotionally balanced and just and fair and loving and making decisions that were best for everyone involved, that they were only making decisions that were best for them. And other people saw the truth of it, and their manipulation tactic didn't work. You're either truthful and honest and just and fair in a relationship, or you're trying to be deceptive and confuse people about the truth and put people in their ego and put people in their competitive nature and manipulate people. And they tried that, and other people moved on. And what they didn't see coming is that they would be the one who's defensive and feels betrayed because other people moved on, and they're kind of in their egos like, how'd that happen? I was supposed to move forward victoriously, and I was supposed to operate from my ego, and I was supposed to be able to manipulate them, and how do they seem to have their dreams come into reality? And I kind of could have went to go get in something that ended. Well, the whole thing is they weren't listening to love and intuition to guide them, and they were tempted by people in the world who tried to tempt them, probably in their pride, their ego, and their greed, and they fell for it, and the devil lies. And it didn't work out the way they thought, and everything they keep trying to get to give birth to something like abundant and nurturing and supportive and encouraging isn't probably going to work out, because those aren't the seeds that they're planting. So they get in relationships with people, and if they get in relationships with loving people, eventually the loving people end the relationship with them because they see they were deceived. And they love themselves enough to get out of those relationships. And if they find someone who's willing to keep staying in a relationship with them, the people who might be willing to stay in it are kind of just like them. And then they feel betrayed because they wanted someone loving to come towards them and indulge them in a relationship like a parent would a child. And they might have a harder time finding someone who's loving to indulge them in a relationship where they're all about themselves and bossy and controlling. And the people who might want to be in a relationship with, and they might have someone communicating with them saying they want to be in a relationship with them, that they want to have a victory with them. For some of those people, if they're in a relationship with someone who's encouraging them, and they got in another relationship with someone who's loving and nurturing, that they could maybe work with to try to heal from some of their self-limiting beliefs. And, sometimes people can get in a relationship with people and other people loved and encouraged them too, but maybe they were too kind of far apart on the lessons they learned in life, and they could have needed someone to come into their life that was closer to being on the same page as them, has some more of some of the same fears and insecurities as they do, and self-limiting beliefs, but they have hope and faith and belief and love, and that maybe together they could, walk the path together. But for some people, they might still be tempted by someone who is kind of in their ego. And again, it could just even be a family member. Well, I don't like that you're in a relationship, or anybody else that used to be a love interest. I don't like that you're getting in a relationship with someone else. I don't like that you're detaching from me. I don't like that look like you're giving birth to something new. I'm in my ego about it. If they're a former romantic interest, that person might pop up in their life, trying to get them to end that relationship and kind of get back in a relationship with them. It indulges them in their ego. And then the same thing will probably happen. That person will turn their back to them because that person is just like them. And for some of them, they could think like, oh my gosh, that would be the perfect person for me to be in a relationship with. They're about ego and image and status and money and materialism. It's like, yes, and they're more egotistical than you. And they don't want you. They want you. They know they're a temptation to you. Maybe because of their status or their image. And because you keep being tempted by it, when you even get in relationships with other people, that you could maybe have some of the stability and abundance that you want. And part of it might be this person could remind them of someone from childhood that they have unhealed wounds from, and they could always be tempted by that person or type of person because they could remind them of those people. And for some of those people, they want to live their life like they did when they were a child and be in relationships with people who are like that. So yeah, so I think if people are in mismatched relationships right now, some of the shadowy people could be surprised that the loving people in their life are going to speak their truth and quit exchanging resources with them, because they've been loving and encouraging basically long enough, and what they might try one more time to get those people to move forward with them in love. And if those people don't, it's like judgment day, and those people are going to move away from them. And some of the shadowy people did not see that coming, and the loving people are going to speak their truth and stand up for themselves. You know, we can only stay in a mismatched relationship so long. And if you're a loving person, you want to be in just and fair and loving relationships. And eventually you're illuminated to the truth that the people you're in a relationship with are defensive to aligning with love. And partly because they're either immature and haven't learned some of the life lessons you've learned in life, and you're on completely different pages. They're defensive. They could be egotistical and self-centered. They're more about staying in the relationship because ego and image and someone indulging them, and other people are like, I'm not going to keep indulging you, and I don't want to stay in a relationship with you for those reasons. And some people could be tempted to make an offer kind of to someone in their past. And if they could realize that part of it could be their ego, and that if people were motivated and inspired by the same things you are, and if you've already spoken your truth and you've been just and fair and loving, and those people aren't investing and communicating with you, then they've kind of shown us their truth. And it might be people who are trying to manipulate you and play on your ego. And don't let people manipulate you. Stand up for yourself. Keep speaking your truth. And again, between having adult children, siblings, parents, friends, love interests, we can have love for people and not be willing to be in a relationship with them until they have learned to put in the work and effort to free themselves from what manipulates them. If we get in a relationship with them, whatever manipulates them, we have to let that be a third party in our relationship. You want love and encouragement and stuff like that, and intuition to be the third party in the relationship. And that's not what manipulates them. And then all the other people in their life that manipulate them for their own reasons. And until they win that battle within themselves to get balance within themselves and see the truth that it's about love, you take action in the world. You could kind of look like you're living life the same, but it's like a parallel universe. The intentions behind the actions they take aren't based on love and justice and fairness and character and integrity and maturity. They're taking action out of fear, insecurity, pride, ego, self-centeredness. And you can't have your dream come into reality with them. So wish them peace. keep standing up for yourself and keep investing your time, energy, and effort into people who are loving and warm and encouraging and truthful and honest and enjoy your life. Because this would be creating a little hell in your life, because that's kind of, they align with shadowy energy. And you want to create a little heaven on earth. So you have to go hang out with people in the world and enjoy a little heaven on earth. So there you go, Capricorn energy. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.